For 3,000 cycles, the harvesters had never known defeat. Commander Zekthara stood before the holographic star map, his 4 eyes narrowing at the blue planet rotating before him. Beside it pulsed a crimson icon, a skull marker. In all his centuries of service, he had seen only 2 other systems marked thus, both lifeless husks where ancient wars had rendered the worlds uninhabitable. "Why would a thriving planet carry a death warning?" asked his lieutenant. Zekthara's mandibles clicked in amusement. "Old data, incorrect survey, it matters not." He gestured at the planet's information display. 8 billion souls, the harvest will be substantial. The harvesters had perfected their craft across millennia. They would arrive in overwhelming force, demonstrate their power, and demand the tribute, 1,000 young from each world. Every species complied. The Chlorthians had wept but surrendered their children. The Veskar had negotiated for lower numbers and failed. The Dranics had attempted resistance and lost 3 cities before dawn. All of them had learned the same lesson. The harvesters were inevitable. 20 Harvester-class warships materialized in Earth's orbit, their weapons capable of glassing continents. Zekthara transmitted the standard message in every known language, certain the primitive inhabitants would understand at least one. "We are the harvesters. You will provide 1,000 young, ages 10 to 15 of your cycles. You have 1 rotation of your planet to comply. Resistance is extinction." The response came in a single Earth language, audio only. A female voice, steady and cold. "No." Zekthara blinked all 4 eyes in sequence, certain he had misheard. "Clarify." "You will not touch our children. Leave our system now, or we will make you leave." Laughter rippled through the command ship. His weapons officer nearly fell from his station. Even Zekthara allowed himself a clicking chuckle. "You do not comprehend your position. We have." "We don't care what you have. This is your only warning, leave." The audacity was almost refreshing. Zekthara nodded to his weapons officer. "Demonstrate." A lance of plasma carved through the atmosphere, vaporizing an uninhabited mountain in the Pacific. The message was clear: obey or your cities burn. Earth's response was instantaneous. The defensive satellites humanity had hidden in the orbital debris field activated simultaneously. What the harvesters had dismissed as space junk revealed itself as a network of weapons platforms. Rail guns, missiles, and directed energy weapons tore into the harvester fleet from every angle. 3 warships exploded in the opening salvo. The remaining vessels returned fire, their shields flickering as Earth's weapons hammered them with horrifying precision. Ground-based installations launched swarms of nuclear-tipped missiles that dodged and weaved through point defense fire with unnatural coordination. "Impossible," Zekthara roared. "They're a barely spacefaring species, how?" His command ship shuddered as something massive collided with it. Through the viewport, he saw human fighter craft, tiny, maneuverable, piloted by beings who flew with suicidal creativity. They targeted weak points in the harvester ships with surgical accuracy, seeming to accept horrific losses as simply part of their strategy. Within an hour, 17 harvester warships were burning debris. 3 fled through emergency jump portals, Zekthara's ship among them. For the first time in 3 millennia, the harvesters had been routed. The council chamber erupted in chaos when Zekthara delivered his report. Accusations flew. Demands for immediate retaliation echoed from the vaulted ceiling. "We will send the armada," bellowed War Master Thorix. 500 ships. We will crack their planet like an egg and feast on the—" "No!" The voice cut through the din like a blade through flesh. An ancient warrior, scarred and gray with age, stepped forward from the shadows. General Caxnos, veteran of the frontier wars, a figure most had assumed dead. "You will send no one," Caxnos continued, his voice carrying the weight of hard-won experience. Thorix bristled. "You dare." "I dare because I have fought them. 60 cycles ago in the outer margins before they achieved spaceflight, before we marked them on our charts. Caxnos activated his own holographic display, showing a younger Earth, its primitive satellites barely visible. I led a forward reconnaissance unit to their world, believing them easy prey. He paused, the silence heavy. Of my battalion of 312 of us returned. The humans had weapons that could harm us, yes, but that wasn't what made them dangerous. What made them dangerous was that they refused to accept defeat. When we destroyed their positions, they built new ones. When we killed their warriors, more came. When we thought them broken, they rose again. Caxnos turned to face the council directly. I watched a single human mother hold a choke point for 3 hours against 20 of our soldiers. She was bleeding from a dozen wounds, running on nothing but will and fury. She killed 7 of my warriors before she fell. And then her young, barely old enough to walk, picked up her weapon and kept fighting. The chamber had fallen silent. They are not like the other species we have harvested. Those species value survival above all. They negotiate, they surrender, they accept the inevitable. Humans do not. When you threaten what they love, they do not calculate odds or consider survival. They simply fight. And they will not stop fighting until either you are dead or they are. He gestured at the holographic Earth. That skull marker, it wasn't old data, it was a warning from whoever encountered them first. Perhaps from our own scouts centuries ago. A warning that we, in our arrogance, ignored. Are you suggesting, Thorax said slowly, that we cannot defeat them? I am suggesting that the cost would be everything. You want to send 500 ships, send 5,000. They will still make you pay for every meter of their soil with blood. They will weaponize their atmosphere, their oceans, their very star if they must. And even if you win, if you somehow scour every human from existence, it will cost you your armada, your reputation, and your empire. The other species will learn that the great harvesters bled themselves to death against one primitive world. Caxnos zoomed the map out, showing the surrounding space. Or you can do what any intelligent predator does when it finds prey too dangerous to take. You walk away. You mark their territory as forbidden. You survive. The council deliberated for hours, but in the end, survival won over pride. The solar system was marked in the star charts, a skull, surrounded by warnings in every galactic language. Harvester exclusion zone. Species demonstrates extreme protective aggression. Avoid all contact. Lethal force authorized against any who violate this designation has proven inadequate. The news spread through the galaxy like wildfire. The harvesters, who had never known defeat, had fled from a single world. The species that had terrorized civilizations for millennia had encountered something more terrifying than themselves. Parents who would not surrender their young. Within cycles, the tribute shipments began to stop. First one world refused, then another. Humanity had set the example, and the galaxy began to resist. The harvesters tried to retaliate, but the lesson of Earth had been learned. If humans could resist, anyone could. The age of harvest was ending. And on the small blue planet marked with a skull, humanity went about its business, unaware that they had just freed a galaxy. They were too busy doing what humans had always done, protecting their children, defying the impossible, and refusing to accept that anything was inevitable. In the vast darkness of space, the skull marker pulsed its warning to any who would listen. Here lived a species that fought not for conquest or glory, but for love. And there was no force in the universe more dangerous than that.